So 265. Today we're talking about some standouts in yesterday's matchup between Chicago and Utah. And first off, I think the game was it really could have went either way. I would say the first two periods. And then the third period started, and from that point on, it was just pretty much all Utah, and they were able to take advantage. And once they got up to 4-2, I kind of had a feeling that the Blackhawks weren't going to able to come back in this game. And then it was 5-2, and it just wasn't a close game. And they were down by three late to go in the game. It was just not an ideal way to end it. But I would say to start it, they were okay. And in the second period, they were even more effective than they were in the first. And they got a goal from Joe Veleno. They got a goal from Ryan Donato as well. And I mean, those guys, yes, they're producing, and you get some other guys producing in there. Like Artie Levshunov was producing, Nick Foligno, Connor Bedard, like those guys were all on the score sheet once again. But it's kind of the same guys. And that's kind of the issue there. But in terms of the Hawks side as well, Sam Rinsell, Oliver Moore making their NHL debuts. I thought Sam Rinsell looked awesome in this game. I would be really curious. I know Frank Cervelli talked about how he might need no time in the AHL. I would not be surprised if that happens either. I think Oliver Moore is going to be like a Frank Nazar and get some time in the AHL, and then he comes up and get some games in next year. But with Rinsell, he was looking really assertive. He was looking really good with his deception, his ability to look off other guys and individually play the puck. He looked confident in the rush. He looked confident on breakouts. He looked really good with his outlets. He looked really good at carrying pucks through the neutral zone. I think when you look at Sam Rinsell, a lot of his game is built on his transition play and his ability to really carry the play there and also be able to carry that into the ozone. And he was doing a good job of that, doing a steady job of that. And he was really reliable in those situations as well. I think Rinzel is going to be a very effective player long term. And just the overall potential in his game is really intriguing. And it's something that you don't usually see out of too many defenders. He's 6'4". He plays the position really well, skates extremely well. Like he's really nimble on his edges, and his push-offs coming from his edge work is so good, so smooth, and very coordinated effort in terms of his skating, and his skating, especially moving laterally east-west, is very effective there. And just his heads-up ability with the puck, he's got dual threat ability. He can shoot, but he can also pass. Like he's got a really underrated shot because I think a lot of his game is built on his playmaking, but his shot is vastly underrated in that sense. And then Oliver Moore, I knew he was fast, but when I was watching him closely for really, I would say the second or third time, because I watched him a little bit closer when he was with the NTDP and even some games at Minnesota. And watching him in this game, I was like, wow, this guy is fast. Like he can fly. It's two strides and he's gone. It's insane how quickly he can move and how he can get that top gear acceleration so quickly. It's not many players have the ability to do that, but he brings that and he brings that energy regularly. So that was awesome to see. And then I thought outside of that, Ryan Donato, once again, very effective. He's closing in on becoming a 30 goal scorer, and he's likely going to hit that mark pretty soon. And just played a really steady all around game. And then Connor Bedard, I thought was really effective as well, which was good to see. You really want Bedard to produce and be engaged offensively all the time. He looked really good in the rush. He looked really good one on one and wasn't afraid to try new things in one on one situations. He was showing creativity, showing that flash, that finesse, and that was really good to see out of him. As for Utah, I thought Alex Kerfoot was really effective, 3-point game for him, and was just active around the net. He had a nose for the net, tenacious around the net, was very effective in those situations, and just creating a lot of havoc there. And he was doing a good job of that, and really noticeable in those situations as well. John Marino with 2 points and very steady shutdown defenseman who can play an all-around game. Not super relied upon offensively, but plays a really good solidified defensive and shutdown game. Defends the line rush really well. I was really impressed with him. Mikhail Sergachev, another guy. I feel like I notice him a lot when he plays Chicago too. And he had a 2-point game in this game. He was very effective as an all-around defenseman. He was creating a lot of shot volume. He was active from the point. He was just active in all situations, really. I think it came down to his offensive ability, his transition ability, and his D zone ability. Like he's aggressive in D zone too. and he's not afraid to stand guys up, and he's not afraid to box guys out and really close gaps quick, especially when he's defending the line. So he was good in this game. Logan Cooley, another guy who's really effective, 1 goal, 2 shots for him. I thought he was really noticeable around the net as well. He was taking a lot of hits, but he wasn't afraid to give some back. I thought he's looked a little bit more engaged physically this season. So adding to that his premier offensive game in tandem with the physical play, I think is going to be something he'll encourage in himself moving down the line. And I think as he gets older in the league, he'll become more physical as a center too, and just to stand up for himself more as a skill player. But he shows speed, he shows creativity, he shows finesse. He has a really good, really nifty game. It's kind of similar to Bedard's in a sense. I'm not comparing the two, but like just the way they play, like the pace they play at, they're similar in stature, it's similar in size. Like I feel like those are two guys who are sort of comparable. Obviously, it's Bedard's really in a league of his own on this team, but with Cooley, he plays with pace, he plays with energy, really good skating, really nifty, really creative, plays with those all-around abilities as well. Dylan Gunther, really effective off the rush, just dynamic in transition, attacks with speed, hard to stop when he gets going. And he gave the Blackhawks some challenges, especially when he's moving laterally in the neutral zone. Very, very, very difficult to stop, and very difficult for defenders to really and regularly gap up on him with efficiency. And so outside of that, Clayton Keller, 1 assist for him. I thought he showed some similar ability to Gunther in terms of transition ability. He was attacking more on the outside than Gunther. I think Gunther was more assertive on the inside than Keller was in this game. I think Keller was a little bit more lenient towards the low to high plays, the simple plays, the rim plays around the boards in the ozone to get low to high pucks and stuff like that. He was creative, but not as creative as he usually is. But he was still effective throughout this game as well. And then Kyler Yamamoto, who had a goal in this game, really nice release off a one-timer, and recently getting called up from Tucson. He's playing very effectively in the AHL, and I would imagine down the stretch of the season, he'll play a little bit more in the NHL. I think he has a style of game that really resonates with Utah very effectively, and we'll see where his game continues to trend long term as well.